we are going to begin, Matt, on the front porch.
I don't know if the name of the show is set just yet.
No, it's set. I'm not. We've done 2 segments called it that. It's in ink.
Today's guest begs to differ just a little.
Yeah, I got a couple names. We call it like the Hog Zone, or maybe
the
Hog Zone with Connor Lanfear. Anything you can drop in peanut oil with Connor Lanfear. I think we were frying some fish.
Think of that ring to it.
Flip-flop.
Welcome to Studio 12. We're going to start with anything you can drop in peanut oil. And
I like it.
Connor hadn't said a word.
Yeah, he's taking a little bit of a shot at me right now.
I guess you should get to introduce your.
I should get to introduce him.
We say honored guest. He's already dissed you a little bit. You can introduce him however you want.
Well, first and only visit on the show.
Most people would, let me introduce them first, but since Gilly has such a hard time keeping his mouth closed, without further ado, my guest is the 12th man himself, Cullen Gillaspia. Cullen, I'm already regretting you bringing you on the show.
You made this choice.
Yeah, you'll live with it. So as you can tell, Connor Lanfear, Cullen Gillaspia with us right here on Studio 12, and it is the front porch. I'm going to scrap the Hog Zone, man. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
I'm up for the peanut oil one, though. I kind of like that.
He tried to drop my flip-flop in there last week. I don't know. I saw him gnawing on it afterwards.
I think we're going to ask every guest from now on, has Cullen Gillaspia tried alligator gar?
No, he actually makes fun of me because I eat it.
Don't get me started on the alligator gar.
See, you're with Matt Simon.
If I'm over at his house and he starts cooking alligator
Connor,
gar,
I'm still game. You bring some alligator gar and I'm in. Correctly spiced, it's all good.
Exactly. Yeah. Just breaded, deep fried, and correctly spiced. One day I'm going to sneak it to you.
Shocking.
I'm going to sneak it to you, and you're going to have no idea.
You're going to tell them it's catfish or chicken or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to say.
I love it, yeah.
But now you're going to be suspicious.
Yeah. You know what I want to ask Connor to start, though, since you brought Cullen? At this school, I mean, it's emblazoned on the stadium, home of the 12th man, and one guy has that honor that Cullen gets. He wears the number 12. Other teammates ever just get jealous of the 12th man?
I'm jealous of the 12th man. What are you talking about? No, yeah, that's a really prestigious honor. The 12th man, it's such a big deal to Texas A&M fans and anyone who's ever been affiliated with Texas A&M University. And I can honestly say that no one deserves it more than Cullen. I mean, he epitomizes everything that the 12th man should be. So it's I'm really happy for him, and I'm proud to have him be our 12th man.
Let's see, on Gilly's side, you ever rub it in?
No.
Some guy can go have a great game, say, but you don't wear 12.
No, I don't think it's like that. I don't think that's the way the number 12 should be worn.
No, exactly. You represent it well, but
maybe Lanfear, I'd say that. But
just the Lanfear.
If someone else was to just walk in the locker room and see the way that me and Gilly talk to each other, they'd think we are mortal enemies.
It's bad. It's bad.
It is so bad.
Yeah.
He dragged me into the hot tub yesterday by my ponytail.
Because he splashed me in the cold tub.
People.
We were sitting in the cold tub, and he splashed me all over my back, so I grabbed his ponytail and drug him into the cold tub.
Isn't that a little elementary school there, dragging people by ponytails?
Well, I thought I was going to slip, putting me at risk for injury.
You're collegiates now.
You sabotage.
You're collegiate gentlemen
now.
Collegiate gentlemen here. Come on. But A&M and Nicholls State here at Kyle Field on Saturday night. We're looking forward to the home opener. And Connor and Cullen, just both of your comments, what we're coming off of. A tough one on Sunday night in L.A., but in your world, the one you guys live in, you're not allowed to dwell. I mean, it's you could have won it big. You can lose a game. Whatever happens, I mean, you got to get to the next one as quick as possible, especially this week. You got back real late Monday morning, and it's a short week. No rest for the weary. You got to get right back to it.
Exactly. I mean, that was probably the toughest loss that I personally have ever been a part of. And, it's going to eat you for a little while. But as soon as you come to work again on Monday, you have to forget about it and move on to the next game. Like you said, you can't dwell on the stuff like that at this level. You've got to move on to your next opponent and start thinking about, okay, last week was a tough one, but all that matters is being 1-0 this week. Mm-hmm. And we really do take it week by week and approach it with a 1-0 mentality. I know a lot of people have said that, and a lot of people are probably tired of hearing that, but that's the genuine truth of how we approach every week.
And you know, Gilly, for you, when you guys watch film every week, win or lose, you're looking for things you can do better, things you did great. And we'll start with you, maybe some positives that you could take out of that game. Maybe not necessarily you, maybe in general, from what you saw in the film after you're able to get back and kind of evaluate that.
Of course. Those first 3 quarters we were a team to be reckoned with. I don't think there was anybody in the country that looked like we did in the first 3 quarters. You know, we had kind of fell apart in the fourth quarter, but just a few takeaways from me were our run game looked awesome. Watching Lanfear and those guys pull around the end and going to get on those linebackers, it was fun to watch. The running backs had holes to run through. It was cool. But the most pleasant surprise for me was watching Natara Laka and Tyrell Dotson play. Both of those guys worked so hard in the offseason, and I've put more trust in those guys and really have faith in them to lead our defense. And the way they stepped up and went out there and played, I think they really played like that SEC linebacker that we've been looking for so long here at Texas A&M. It was really fun to watch them go out there and perform the way they did. Granted, we got to put it together for 4 quarters, but those guys aren't afraid of a challenge. They'll be back out there this week and ready to go.
And speaking of those positives, Connor, Cullen mentioned the offensive line, and you have Travion rush for over 200. Keith, I don't know the exact numbers of him, but it was over 100. And for a lot of that game, it was looking pretty easy. I mean, Jim Turner's probably as tough a grader, and I don't even know if he issues a grade, but he's a tough critic of what you guys do. But I imagine maybe did he finally find a compliment in there of the group, because it was pretty impressive.
Coach Turner actually started off our film session yesterday with, "This is the high of my career as far as rushing yards." I think our total rushing yards was around like the 430
it
mark,
was just under 400,
somewhere around that number. Anytime you rush for over 400 yards in a single game, I think that's a testament to number one, you know, the offensive line's toughness and work ethic. Number two, you know, just the caliber of backs that we have in the backfield. And both those guys are absolute workhorses. They come to work every day with their hard hat and, you know, their lunch pail and just get after it. But you know, there was not – I mean, there's always points to improve on. You know, you can always take away, you know, some things in your technique that you need to improve on week to week. But I think overall, Coach Turner was pleased with our rushing attack, which is always good.
Yeah. I'm sure, you know, like I said, he's a tough critic, but even a guy like Jim Turner, I left the game, I was kind of like, he's got to be pretty pleased with what those guys did up front. But getting back on the home field with this Nicholls State game, first, you know, nobody here takes Kyle Field for granted. And I know the first time you run out, you know, Power's playing, the Fire's going, you guys don't take that for granted. That's one of the joys of playing here, is just to take that field. And I guess maybe it's a little different feel, Cullen, the first time you do it in a season, like you will on Saturday night.
Yeah, I'm excited to see some of the new guys, what their reaction is when they get to run out in front of 100,000. I know my first time I ran out there, the drums started playing. I remember that. I heard Power. We started swaying, and next thing I knew, I looked up and we were on the sidelines. I kind of had a adrenaline rush and blacked out, and I looked up and I was the war hymn was playing. So I know it was something. The first time I ran out there, it was really a dream come true. I'd say once in a lifetime, but you get to run out there 8 times a year, and it was a really once in a lifetime experience. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, with these great fans, Connor, to come back from a road trip to start the season and to know that you're at home here for the next 2 games and starting on Saturday night, how much fun is that going to be Saturday to get out in front of these fans?
I just can't wait to be back in College Station, surrounded by Maroons, surrounded by Aggies. The support and love that, you know, College Station's people and the students of A&M have for this team is unlike anything else in the rest of the country. We're so fortunate to get to play in front of them and represent this university. It's something that I've been looking forward to for a very long time. Since my injury last November, I haven't been on Kyle Field in almost a year now. It's coming up on a year. So to finally get back out there, I just can't wait.
Connor Lanfear, Cullen Gillaspia with us on Studio 12. It's the front porch, at least for now, the front porch weekly segment there. We have asked,
ultimately, it's up to Connor. And
I think it's going to stay.
Yeah, I'm asking you to keep it right there.
Cullen, we've asked all of his guests so far here, hunting, fishing, you big into that stuff? Do you get to go
Real
with
big.
this guy?
Not as much we like to. Dove season opened up on, what was it, last Friday? We thought about going on Monday. I have a buddy who has a place around here, but he said the birds weren't flying. But he always gets mad at me. I have a house down in Galveston, and it'll be like Friday night at like 11 o'clock at night. I'm like, hey, you want to come down and go fishing? I'll call him at like 11 o'clock at night. Hey man, the surf's gonna be flat in the morning. I know you like to fish the surf. You want to come down? And he's like, why didn't you tell me on Wednesday? No, so we
plan ahead of time.
Yeah, that was probably on my bad this summer. I should have got to him a little bit earlier, but we talk about it enough.
Mm-hmm. Without a doubt. I mean, there have been so many weekends, Gilly will just call me and be like, man, the water is totally flat. We've got some blue, like, offshore water coming in. You got to get down here. I'm like, Gilly, I'm like 10 miles away from Mexico right now in South Texas.
I'm on the Brazos right now. I'm catching alligator gars. All right, bud. You have fun.
Going to have good eats.
What are some of the things you like to do, Gilly, when you do get your downtime? I know it's few and far between during the season, but things you like to do, maybe in the off season, maybe in the season when you have a little downtime.
Love to hunt and fish. Like I said, I go down to Galveston a lot and do a lot of fishing down there. Really just hanging out with my friends. The weekends are always fun. We have sports days. We come out in our front yard. We play washers. I like to cook. A lot like Connor will come over. I did a brisket the other day, which involved me sitting out in our front yard for 12 hours looking at my smoker, acting like Connor, being an old man. I like to hang out during the day. Saturdays are for the boys, so that's what we like to do. We like to hang out in our front yard and cook stuff and have a good time.
How'd that brisket come out?
Excellent. I was actually really surprised. Gilly, he texted me at like 8 in the morning. Was like, hey man, come sit in my front yard and we're just gonna watch a brisket cook for about 12 hours. So what did I do? Came over, set up the lawn chairs. Just sitting in the front yard shirtless watching the smoker.
We had a kiddie pool set up, had some friends come over. It was a good time.
Did he ask you to deep fry it?
Deep fried brisket.
I had it out. I had the deep fryer out just in case.
Yeah.
You can't.
That's a true friend there, man, that he's got your back in case you decide you want to.
He brought some Twinkies over. He thought he was going to drop them in there.
God. Enemies or friends, we'll figure it out later. Man, you have to bring Cullen back late in the season.
Without a doubt.
We could go longer here.
Oh, for sure.
I'm full of ammunition.
If he doesn't want to, drag him in by his ponytail.
I will do it.
Thanks, gents. Good luck on Saturday night.
Thank you.